Hi, welcome to the Small Shed. This week we're back on the coffee table for the Button Factory commemoration. See you in a minute. Now, when I last did anything on this table, it was the day before the lady was coming to look at it, and we'd got the mock-ups done, and a couple of things have come out of that which have been quite useful, some good, some bad. The bad is that I knocked the frame when I was putting it in the car and it broke the joint on the corner, and I realised that doing a spline in softwood that is running with the grain like that is next to useless, because it just shears along the grain if it gets a knock anyway. So that's just a note to self. I've never done this sort of thing before, and clearly it needs a spline that the grain runs that way, or perhaps one in hardwood, but we'll glue that back up. But otherwise she was quite happy with what we were doing. She's gone away with a sample of the oak and the laser engraving. I did a photograph and some words so she can sort out exactly what she wants on that. I've had a few more thoughts of things regarding how I'm going to put it together, and I think we're just about really there. I've changed a few designs and we'll worry about that when we get to the oak, but all I'm going to do now is quickly put this together as it was envisaged, and then we can take it. There's an official sort of launch ceremony for the whole project, I think, in beginning of March. It's towards the end of February now, so we can get that ready for that in its softwood state, and people can see what's happening, and there's a bit of progress going on there. So we'll take it along to that, and then we can make a start on the real work in oak. Now, last time we saw the table it was the other way up. I've marked on the underneath of it where the button part sits, and that gives me a basis for putting the framework on for the legs. Now, originally I was going to just put the corner legs, probably pocket hold through into the top there, like that, and that would give me the framework I needed, and then underneath that there will be a further timber screwed through from the inside, which will give the support to the table underneath. Obviously it'll be thicker than that, it'll be that sort of square, I'm imagining. But having thought about it a bit more, I've decided that it will be much stronger if I were to put another piece of timber like that through there, right the way through, push the leg out slightly, which it's able to do. Let's get another piece of this. And that gives me a couple of advantages. First of all, it means that I've got double the gluing area for this bottom here for the rail for support. I can screw through from there into the leg, as well as screwing the leg into the top, which gives me even more support to the leg itself, and we can still put our inner bead on underneath, and all in all it makes it a much more substantial support for that leg unit. Now, I've just been tidying up the underneath of this tabletop. I've screwed the legs in with 4 pocket hole screws into the corners, and that seems to be holding really solidly anyway. But then the backing piece goes in, which I'll then screw down in that way into the underside of the table, and then there's a filler piece that goes in on the front that tidies up the shape of the leg. So I'm happy that that's now working okay, and as I say, it's really solid. So I'm just going to finish off the rest of this now. I think I'll probably glue it as well, belt and braces and all that, and that should give me a really solid table base ready just to drop the button table in from underneath, and then we can just put some restraining, probably 15 by 15, something like that, pieces underneath just to hold it from falling out. So that's looking pretty good, I think. And then once all this is glued up, we can start and fettle the joints to smooth them all out, and I think that will give me my proof of concept anyway. It seems to be working well enough as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy with that. Right, so it's time to check out whether the coffee table works as such and all goes together. I've put all the bits together. It needs a good sand, but before I get into that, let's make sure it all fits together. I haven't got room in the shed because everything's getting too big. It really needs to go down to mending sheds on Monday to get it sanded down, but first of all I want to make sure it actually works and goes together. I think I've come up with a solution to my problem on these corner joints that show. I can just put a very thin strip veneer around on this one, and obviously on the finished one it won't occur because I'll use a biscuit on the corners. But I want to get something that's reasonably tidy because it's going off next Friday in a week's time to this launch of the button factory itself, or the refurbishment of. So let's get the actual buttons in. Let's see if it actually fits, because I've not tried it and it looks a bit tight, I must admit, but we'll see. So right, just going to put a couple of clamps in to take the place of the timbers that will go underneath this and support it when it's done, but at the moment I just want to get it roughly in position and see how it looks. So the first good news is that there's nothing showing on the sides. You know, you can't see through it anywhere. So let's try it down on the floor. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks to be pretty much what I hoped for. As I say, it wants an awful lot of work to sand it now, but it's all almost wasted other than just to get the experience. But that's the table. I'm just going to go and get a piece of glass to try on in the corner and see how that looks, but I'm not going to get the big one cut until we're finished. Now I've yet to try out the means of bonding this in, because I want to actually bond it in, but we'll probably do that after we've finished, just in case, after it's been on display, just in case it doesn't quite work out properly, because I don't want to make a mess of everything else. But that's how the glass will sit in there. And there have been some pieces left. I asked them to leave it at foot intervals so that we could put risers in to support what was originally going to be polycarbonate. But I think glass is going to be okay and not need any support, so whether they'll need to stick some more buttons in, I don't know. But that's the concept piece completed, other than, as I say, a week of sanding, tidying, putting a little strip around the inside just to hide and tidy things up a bit. I haven't got much room, so I don't know, we'll see about that. It's not something I'm too worried about, but I think we're pretty much there with that. If I can budge that over about another 4 or 5 mil, I'll have enough room down that side to put the strip in both sides. So yeah, I'm happy with that. We can get it all sanded up and hopefully I'll get a few pictures down at the launch of the button factory itself, the commemoration sort of celebrations and thing. I've had an invite for that, so we'll see if we can get a few pictures when it's down there. So I'm finally getting around to just sorting out these horrible joints on the corner that I left. Just cut some very thin strips of lath, which I hope will cover this without interfering with the jigsaw, the mosaic itself. Just going to glue those on. I've done the verticals, we'll sand them down in a minute, and then that will sit there and hide the joint, and once the bottoms come up inside there you won't see what's gone on. So sometimes you can hide your mistakes without it becoming a major problem. So this is our finished test piece. I'm just going to repair the bit of damage that I did, or I caused, I think, by dropping it or knocking it. Let me just put this down. I've got a spot of PVA on there. Should fit nicely over the original. There's still a small stud left. Looking at it, there's actually another button there, I think. So I'll just go and have a quick look and see if we've got a second one, because there's a small gap there. I've only just noticed. Just found the other one. Just drops in there. I think I'll obviously knock that corner at some point. That's repaired that. So it's time just to wrap it up now, and we'll take it over to the exhibition for tonight. Okay, so the mini exhibition went well. They had queues out round the block on the Saturday of the opening of it. We went on the Friday night, and everybody was happy with the table itself. It was well received as far as it goes. Obviously it's not the finished job yet. One thing that came out of it though, which has almost vindicated the whole point of building one in softwood, is that just as we were coming away, the lady that had commissioned it said, I wonder if it needs to be a little bit taller. So having got that situation, I know I can correct it. I've got oak here that's a lot longer for the leg sections than I've already used in the softwood one. So I'm going to start off with the maximum length I can on that, and if she wants it chopped down later she can, but at least it's sort of made the whole thing worthwhile doing, if you like, as well as being able to have that little demonstration for the exhibition itself. So hope the video was of interest. All I've got to do now is make a start on the whole thing again, and this time in oak, which is a little bit harder to do, but we'll pick up and hopefully get that all knocked off in one video, because a lot of it will be repeat stuff. So look forward to seeing you next time. We'll be doing something different in the shed. We'll see you then. Bye.